The Chicago Bulls take the court without a lot of players. They have a lot of players that are missing in this game without Kevin Huerter, Julian Phillips, Nikola Vucevic, all sitting in this game. But nonetheless, it's still a preseason game that needs to be played. Are the Chicago Bulls going to be ready? Are they going to be able to get another win against the Cleveland Cavaliers? We'll talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And yeah, we got another preseason game going on today. Another game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's already been announced that Nikola Vucevic, Julian Phillips, and Kevin Huerter are all going to be out in this game. None of the injuries are considered to be serious at all. This is precautionary. Basically, they got a Veterans Day off. That's basically what this is. They got a Veterans Day off. Julian Phillips' injury is listed as a knee. Kevin Huerter is listed as a groin. And Nikola Vucevic is just listed as will rest. So there you go there. I don't think any of these are too serious. So don't worry about that. If anybody, I know with Bulls and injuries and our medical staff, it's natural to start worrying when you hear players are going to be sitting out, but it doesn't seem like it's anything serious too much there. And that the Bulls are just getting ready for the season. You look at everybody that's sitting, well, except for Julian Phillips. This is an important, run for Julian Phillips as far as just performing in the preseason, because he doesn't have a role clearly on this team as things stand right now. So him missing any time could definitely be detrimental to him trying to crack that rotation for the Chicago Bulls. But overall, I'll say let's not worry about it too much. I think things are going to be fine overall. And yeah, I think things are going to be fine. We got Brian in the building. Says, shit, I'm early. What's going on, Brian? Glad to have you in the building. My cocktail internal clock and my basketball internal clock are not yet aligned this season. That's crazy. That's wild. All right, that's crazy. But with that said, man, I'm excited about this game. And more importantly than anything, I think, I want to be clear here. In preseason, the wins and losses don't matter. It's about the process. It's about what are you seeing stylistically. It's about, how they're playing together. Whether it's about performance more than result, right? And I think that's the thing that you need to look at here. But I will say this, with Kevin Huerter out, with Julian Phillips out, with Nikola Vucevic out, this opens up minutes for some of the guys that we want to see if they're going to be ready to make a step up this season. For example, Jalen Smith is going to get an opportunity. Does Kevin Huerter not Kevin Huerter, does Noah Essengay get more minutes now with some of those wing minutes being open, right? Does P. Will, who played pretty solidly for a bench player, does he get more time and more burn now? Those are things to be looking at for this one in this game, and just seeing how they play, who steps up, those type of things. That's really what we're looking for in this game. It's not anything too crazy. I wouldn't overthink it or anything like that. This is pretty straightforward. This is preseason basketball. We're here to look at guys, get in gear, get ready to go for the NBA season. And Billy Donovan already said that he does expect more minutes for Josh Giddey tonight. Don't be surprised then if he sits the next preseason game. But good for Josh Giddey. I do think Giddey needs to get going a little bit better offensively in this game. He gave us basically next to nothing offensively, well, scoring-wise. Let's just say he still had really good assists. He had some steals. He had some rebounds, those type of things. But I'm looking for the young guys, right? That's what we're looking for. Of course, Okoro, still looking for him and what he's going to bring for this team consistently. Still looking for Modest, another guy to see if Modest continues to just look ready, like he's ready to make that next step as an NBA player, ready for those type of things. But overall, I'm not looking too much into it, man. My boy said, "Go Cubs, go!" Fuck the Cubs. That's what we got here. Sox fans, we're not riding with the Cubs. I can almost see red. I'm still seeing blue. First of all, that's crazy. Windy City 007 says, I missed these notifications before every game, bro. We back on. We not easing into it. This is full season mode. We are back on. We're doing our live streams. It's preseason for me too, so I want to be clear there. I'm still getting myself all the way back in gear to what back ready as what I did before. I almost lost my voice last game, so there you go on that one. But we gearing back up, man. We're gonna be good. I'm excited to see how C-Dub won't have a stroke because of Vooch. That is funny. And don't let Zach Collins have himself a big night tonight, because then C-Dub's gonna be back on that bullshit. Haize, what do you think the lineup going to be? That's a great question. So I do think Zach Collins starts at center. I think you're still doing Kobe, Okoro, and Modest. Probably Dalen's playing. I think Dalen gets to start at the 2. I think Dalen gets an opportunity to start at the 2. And no knock on Ayo Dosunmu, but I just think that they're like Ayo is going to be in that 6-man role, and I think they just kind of want to get him used to the ebb and flows of just being the 6-man. I wouldn't be surprised if they do start Ayo. I want to be clear there, but that's kind of where my mind goes. Maybe Dalen gets an opportunity there, because if you start Ayo, that means you're looking at Trey being your main guy off the bench with P. Will and Jalen Smith and Noah Essengay, because Zach Collins would be in the starting lineup in that case. I'm not necessarily mad at that lineup either. I think either way you're going to see some guys that didn't get a lot of minutes in the last game get some considerable minutes in this one, is what I think you're going to see in this game. Shalanta says definitely because that young Noah, and then we got what Shalanta, bro, come on. I need you to spell check is free. What the fuck was that sentence, my boy? Like we back in season mode. That means I'm back roasting y'all. What the hell was that sentence? Let's read this out loud again for the what? Definitely because that young Noah, and you misspelled Noah, and then we got the what the fuck is that? My boy, I get it. I know that CPS Chicago Public Schools are rough for some people, but you can formulate a sentence better than that one, my boy. You can formulate a sentence better than that. What is that? I need to see DT and Okoro line up. Can't wait to see the defenses with them two on the court at the same time. I mean, listen, Dalen Terry played some really good defense in the last game. The offense wasn't there too much for him, but he played some really good defense. And so I listen, defense out there with Modest and Giddy and Zach Collins. I mean, that's a solid defensive lineup overall. So we'll see. With Vooch out, we'll probably see Lachlan a bit. I mean, we could see Lachlan a bit. I don't know if that's guaranteed, but we could, definitely. I definitely like to see more Noah in the first half. I mean, we saw none in the first 3 quarters. So I think with the players that we have out in today's game, it's going to be very hard not to play Noah Essengay earlier into this game. My personal opinion, right? So I do think that's a safe bet to say that we see a little bit more of Noah in this game for sure. Noah most likely gets more minutes too with Julian out. Agreed, Rob. Definitely agreed. What's good, Haize? Honest question. Do you feel like this is one of the most well-rounded, balanced rosters we've got going into year 6 of See, why do you always ask questions like you write an essay? My boy, we laid back here. Stop being so formal. But I mean, yeah, this is a deep roster. And quality, depth, and depth are different, right? We got to see how much quality is in the depth here. But I mean, when you look at the guys that are going to come off the bench, Trey Jones, you know exactly what he is. He's one of the best assist-to-turnover ratio players in the league. You got Ayo Dosunmu, a really good two-way player, right? You got Zach Collins, a solid backup center. So, you got guys that you're hoping are going to be able to play their roles pretty solidly. If Kevin Huerter also is coming off that bench, you got a shooter coming off that bench. We got guys in Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, Patrick Williams. Those 3 guys all averaged over 15 minutes a game last season. They're competing for the 10th spot in the rotation, right? So, yeah, we got some depth here. We just got to see how things are going to fit together. And that's going to be told over the course of the season for sure. I love the Chicago club, but it feels Chicago Bulls basketball is back. Listen, first of all, the Chicago Cubs, fuck the Cubs. But, I mean, Bulls basketball is back for what it is in this stage right now. Now we got to see how things are going to look over the course of the season, because you know me, I'm not ready to crown nothing, right? We got to see. I'm excited. I'm more optimistic about this team than a lot of people are about this team for sure. But there's a lot that I need to see before I'm ready to say it's going to be solid for, we'll see, right? I do think this team has a chance for over 40 wins. I really do think that. A chance, I said, but we'll see how it's going to come out. We'll see how it's going to come along. I ain't holding my breath. P. Will, he let us down too many times. I'm glad he actually got to fight for playing time now with depth. Oh, listen. Hey, listen, I am not a P. I don't believe in P. Will, but I do believe in what's shown to me. So if P. Will is showing it, then great, right? Now, I do feel like this. If P. Will is having a solid season off the bench for the Bulls and any team comes calling for a trade, I'd still trade his ass, mainly because I don't trust him to repeat it. And if he gets any value, you trade him and you take that value. But I will say, like, if you show it, you show it. And I feel like one of the weirdest things that I think sometimes people do as sports fans is when they actively root against somebody on their team so they can be right about something. P. Will has lost my faith, but I'm not going to act like P. Will doesn't have a chance to still come in here. And in the sense of being a bench player, he has the chance to still be a productive bench player. I really do think that. I'm not going to place a bet on it. But I would be asinine to say that there's still not a chance for a 24-year-old player to just be a solid 9 or 10 and some defense off the bench. He can be that. And we'll see. We'll see. Douglas Lynn in the building says, shout out to Singapore. Thanks for constantly keeping me updated on Bulls news. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate the support. We got TikTok going. Over on TikTok, thank you guys for tuning in on TikTok. Feel free to leave a comment about the Chicago Bulls. We got Instagram going. If you guys are over on the Instagram side watching, feel free to leave a comment as well. I wanted to make sure I shout out the new platforms that we're streaming to as well. Knox getting any playing time? Where does he fit? Knox is going to be on the Windy City Bulls. That's where he fits at. Did Sanogo get cut? Sanogo is now on. Damn it. He was on. Is it the Jet? I can't remember. He's on somebody else's team. He's not here, though. That's what it is. He's not here. Yeah, me too. P. Will is no much more than a bench player. I don't think he has the potential we all thought he had. Yeah, I mean, and that's just the real – you just got to come to that realization at some point. The expectations of a 4th overall pick, that's gone for me. I'm not worried about him living up to the hype of a 4th overall pick. I'm not worried about him being a starter anymore. I'm looking at what his role is. The contract, he's not going to live up to the contract more than likely. But if he's going to be getting minutes off the bench, P. Will does have the chance to be a 9-point solid defense and being able to hit an open three. And, there's something to be said about that being, and especially because he's not even looked to be the 6th man. We're talking about the 10th man in the rotation. If your 10th man can give you solid defense and close to double-digit points, most teams will take that regardless of who it is. Now, it sucks that he's overpaid, but the money ain't coming out of my pocket, so I'm not worried about that part of it. I'm just really excited about Modest, Kobe, Ayo in the future, as you should be. Like, I know that it's commonplace now to hate on the Chicago Bulls. I know a lot of people love to talk shit about the Bulls, be down, people who like to say, well, we ain't made a playoff series in 10 years. All that's true. I want to be clear that all that's true. But at the same time, right now, you got to also be blind criticism. If you all you see is negative and you can't even notice anything positive, then you're doing it wrong. If you're so optimistic that you see nothing negative, you're doing it wrong. You should be able to call it honestly, right? And there are some things that are definitely concerning about this team, especially if they want to have long-term success. But there are also some things that are going right for this team. And that's just what I believe. Some things are going in the right direction for this team. We just got to see if we're going to be able to sustain it. That's it. Still surprised how we got 10 guys on rotation with DT, Noah, and all of the guys. I mean, hey, that's what it is, man. And listen, that's why I said there's a difference between depth and quality depth. We have a lot of forwards. We got probably more positional balance than what we ever had on this roster as far as guards, forwards, and centers. The question now becomes about how much quality is in that depth, and especially for a season where you only have 7 players under contract after this year. So everybody's in an evaluation year, right? And so you get a chance to really evaluate where this team is, see who fits stylistically, who's going to be part of your future, all these type of things. And then you get to make a natural decision at the end of this year with so much cap space. The Bulls are projected to have $114 million beneath the luxury tax next year. That gives them a lot of room to play with, right? So in evaluating these guys, you get to see who's pieces for the future, who fits with the pieces that you have for the future, and then you get to go out and get guys that better fit that vision that you have for them naturally at the end of this year if it doesn't work out. And that's a good place to be in. Now, are AK and Eversley going to take advantage of it and manage it the right way? That's another question. We don't have the answer for that yet. But they're in a position where they're able to do that evaluation, and we'll see what comes of it after that, right? We'll see what comes of it next. I'm looking for a 42-40 or 41-40 win team. I think they're good enough to win 42 games. That should be a 7th or 8th seed. Let's see. Let's check this. Let me check the standings and how they were. 40 to 42 wins. If I'm not mistaken, that puts you at, let's see. So last year, 41 games was the 7th seed. So, and I know people are going to say, well, the East is wide open. The East isn't wide open. It's more open, right? But you still got teams that are going to be head and shoulders above the rest. Cleveland and Knicks are in one tier. And then I think you have the Magic. You have the Detroit Pistons. You have the Atlanta Hawks fighting over that second tier, and then everybody else. I think between the 6th seed and the 10th seed, you're probably going to see a separation of like 4 games between those seeds. Where the Bulls sitting at, that's why we play the games. We'll see what happens with that over the course of the season. Am I going to rock a bald head if Javon Carter gets a double-double this season? Fuck no. The fact that I still have my original hairline and I'll be 39 years old in December is it's choice. I'm not shaving my head and risking it not growing back. I'm not doing that shit. What's good, family? Thanks for all you do, Haize. I'm high on this team this year a little bit. I like how the rookie looked last game. P. Will is most consistent of the last few players, but Noah's fire. I don't know if P. Will, we can say P. Will's consistent. I mean, the thing that's hurt P. Will's game is consistency. So I'm not willing to throw that on him yet. We'll see, right? And I hope that he can get there. I definitely hope that he can get there. Rooting for my boy DT. I loved his energy since being drafted. Hoping he can put together a good season. Let's hope so. This is a contract year for Dalen Terry as well. Damn, bro. Bad hopes he makes the actual roster as much as Acme has improved a lot over the offseason. One negative still is that we just keep them stashed away and never be heard from again. I mean, listen, Adama was the way that I look at it is this. He was here for 2 years, 2.5 years to be exact. And the fact is that it's not like another NBA team signed him and he looks like some gem, right? Adama looked good at the G League level. We saw him have a solid game at the NBA level. But I don't think we saw anything from Adama Sanogo that where you look at it and be like, oh, my God, we let Adama go. Like, yeah, you want to develop guys, but some guys are just G League level players, right? Had to invade the Bulls talk to say those highlights of JF1 and DJ2 against Washington, amazing. What the hell does that got to do with this? No, shout out to Cache in the building. Last year was the first year of data gathering for this offense. This is now going to be year 2. It's just going to give them the better data to evaluate and make decisions. Exactly, right? Because now you laid the foundation last season with how you want to play offensively. And for what it's worth, you had one of the best offenses in the league. And that was without being an efficient three-point shooting team. We were a volume three-point shooting team, but we weren't a hugely efficient three-point shooting team. So now that you have that in there, you've laid that foundation. Now you know how you want to add to it stylistically, right? So hearing the physicality, hearing the want to get better defensively, hearing that we're going to be open to doing double big, seeing Modest Buzelis be more of a point forward. Now you get to see what fits with those things. And now then you get to make further decisions about what you want to do in your roster after that point. And that's just it. Noah look about 6'9". No, Noah looks about 6'11". And he has an almost 9-foot standing reach. 9-foot standing reach is what he is, man. That's crazy. B Miner says, how tall you think Noah is? They had him listed at 6'9", but he's taller than Jalen Smith in the game. I think Noah Essengate is about 6'10 and a half, 6'11". That's what I personally think he is. So, yeah, I think Noah Essengate is tall. And I could see Noah Essengate maybe eventually being a small ball center if he fills out. Now, I don't want that to be the hope for him. Like, I think what he offers, especially with dribbling and that type of thing, that he can be a power forward. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. He's 18 years old. we got a long road ahead of us when we come down to figuring out exactly who Noah Essengay is as a player. Dan Reyes says ESPN never predicted 38 wins or less for this Bulls team. Isn't it a bit pessimistic? Maybe 43 to 44. Here's the thing. The Bulls have gone over the preseason predictions every year for the last 4 years. Every year for the last 4 years, we've gone over preseason predictions of ESPN and Bleacher Report and stuff like that. So if that continues, yeah, you probably are looking at something like that. I need Mark Williams or Jalen Duren on my effing team. Tired of looking at Vooch now. Well, you get over it. Vooch is probably going to be here for a while. And Mark Williams, like, listen, if Mark Williams has a healthy season, I'm not against the Bulls trying to sign him. But let's be clear, the dude's played like a combined 60 games in the last 2 years. Usually for big men that are injured that often early, they don't recover from that. Like typically. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, right? So, there's a chance that he can be more than that. I'm not going to act like he necessarily can't be, but I'm just saying, like, typically big men who've had the injuries that they've had to start off their career, they rarely recover and put it together and then start having healthy seasons. So we'll see what happens with Mark Williams. I think he's in a good position with where he is over in Phoenix, and we'll see. My X factor this year on this team is Dalen Terry. Hey, you're not the first one to say that. You're not the first one to say that, bro. Combine had Noah as 10 without shoes, so 6'11". There you go. There you go. And Noah was top 15 in speed drills at the combine behind Cooper and mostly guards that are smaller. His speed is elite. I'm telling you, listen, I know that there is some doubt around. I know we talked a lot about like players like Thomas Sorber and Asa Newell and stuff like that. And I know that some Bulls fans are a little bit jaded by going the raw pick, right? Because Dalen, Julian, these guys were raw. But I'm telling you, there's something special about Noah Essengay. Now, I'm not saying that something special in the sense that he's going to turn into some superstar, but I do think at minimum, I think you're looking at Noah Essengay being a high energy player that puts pressure on teams and can block a lot of shots. There's a spot on almost every roster for a player like that. I think Noah Essengay is going to end up working out in some shape, form, or fashion. How much that is depending on how his game rounds out. But he's going to be good. He's going to be good. Appreciate all your coverage on our squads. They're like annoying-ass kids who keep repeating the same mistakes constantly, but we can't abandon them. That's just what it is to be a Chicago sports fan. Listen, I didn't choose to cover the Bulls, Bears, Sky, Illinois, which I need to get back on Fighting Illini Central. I didn't choose to cover that because they're the most winningest teams. I did that because these are the squads. These are the teams that I've been following for every single day. So, it is what it is there. Noah Essengay got measured for combine in Europe. He's listed as 6'10" without shoes and 9-foot standing reach. Cool. Ran into Kenny Beecham podcast, and he definitely watched your shit, bro. Why do you say that, Kawan? I'd just be interested to say to hear why you feel like he must watch my show. I don't watch Kenny Beecham often. I'm not gonna say like I sit there and watch every episode, but I'd just be interested to see why you said that. Ran into I already read that one. You called me a dumbass bitch last season. I'm gonna roast your bald head bitch ass all 82 games. First of all, since people think because you wear hats, I'm not bald at all. So there you go. First off, you're wrong for that one. Secondly, the fact that you held on to being butthurt about something for that long just tells me that, A, your mama raised a bitch. And the fact that you are your mama's favorite daughter and you're a son, that's something that you got to deal with here. You can't come in here and roast me because you're not good enough to roast me. That's the first and foremost thing, because if you were good enough to roast, you wouldn't hide behind making your profile name the Chicago Bulls. So first of all, come back when you are actually a man. Be a man, first of all, and get roasted like the bitch your mama raised you to be. That's what you need to do. All right, now with that said, we're going to move on. Normally scheduled program in here. Over 200 people in here. Show Haize some love and like this video. He's taking time out to respond to y'all comments. This is what I do. Listen, it's not just about me taking time out to respond to y'all comments. Y'all have taken time out y'all day to support this channel, all that type of stuff. Hit that subscribe button. I love y'all, man. I can't stress enough how important y'all are for me, man. Y'all are this show, everything. The way that y'all have made this. I can't make this show blow up by myself. That's y'all. I do a terrible job at promoting your social media. That's y'all. So it's not just thanks to me. It's thanks to y'all as well, man. Y'all are amazing, bro. Best Bulls content out. That's why Kenny B's watching. I mean, listen, if you watch it, shout out to Kenny Beecham. Shout out to Kenny Beecham, bro. Damn, a whole year, bro thought he ate that with that no way. Like, how you wait a whole year and come up with a bad joke? That's crazy. That's wild, bro. It's crazy, man. Auntie Goon in the building says, "Get on his ass, nephew. I'm dying." Listen, y'all. Just because I'm trying to clean up here, let's be clear here. I'm professional, but I also don't give a fuck about that shit when it comes down to something, man. Like there you go. There you go. LOL, motherfuckers think it's sweet to roast, bro. Do it for. Listen, I do this roasting shit for a living. This is what I do. Like, if y'all knew the household that I grew up in, my mama roasted her own children casually while we asking for the potatoes, bruh. Let's just be clear here, man. My whole entire family, we roast for a living. This is what we do. So when it comes to this roasting shit, there's not many people that can pass me up on it. I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. It's okay to have some opinion, but his takes sound exactly like yours, and you know you drop your content first. I think isn't Kenny Beecham in the blow it all up? Like, doesn't he want to see, like, because I'm not the blow it. I don't want to see the Bulls blow it all up. Now, I do want to see them make some strategic trades, but last time I watched Kenny Beecham, at least he was in the crowd and in the fan base of let's blow this team up. So I don't know, like. Again, I'm not going to act like I watch Kenny Beecham, and it's not like my takes are just sensible takes from watching the team. So, you know, if we share takes, that's great. And shout out to Kenny Beecham. What Kenny Beecham's been able to accomplish from starting off a YouTube channel in his mama's house. This is before he even had his own crib. You got to commend that guy. Didn't he just sign a deal with NBC? I think he just signed a deal with NBC. So shout out to Kenny Beecham for everything he's been able to accomplish, man. That boy's probably not commenting again. Oh no, he's done, bro. He's done, bro. My boy, he waited a whole year and then came with a whack joke and then proceeded to get roasted again. That's crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Haize is in his own lane, respectively. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I mean, and I hope that you guys have been appreciating and liking for those that watch the daily episodes, not just the live streams, for those on Instagram and on TikTok, for those that don't know, Chicago Bulls Central is the name of the YouTube channel. I post episodes every single day on the Chicago Bulls. We are at 1,587 straight days of me posting content. 1,587 straight days I've posted Chicago Bulls content. But this last month or so, I've upgraded the graphics and trying to bring. So my goal now, for those that don't know, and I hate making this about me, the show's about the Chicago Bulls, but for those that don't know, my goal here is that for the daily episodes, it's more difficult on the live streams because I'm a one-man show, producing and everything myself, right? But for my goal for the daily episodes is that when people tune in to Chicago Bulls Central, I want them to look at that and look at the production quality of ESPN and say there's no difference. Now, there's difference in my style because I actually know what I'm talking about rather than some of the ESPN people. But for the highlights, the graphics, the overlays, I'm really trying to get this to a point to where when people tune into it, they feel like they're watching a professionally produced sports broadcast. And that is my goal. I want there to be no difference from when you look at Chicago Bulls Central than when you look at ESPN or Fox Sports or NBC or whatever else. I want there to be no difference. And so that's the goal. And I'm going to get there. Wherever I have to do, I'm going to get there. So there you go on that one. Better watch how you come in lives on Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central. Come in at Haize because you're going to get roasted. Listen, I'm telling y'all, I'm not wound too tight. I keep trying to tell y'all that. Would it make sense for an NBA team to blow up the roster with draft being a lottery system? Has something like that worked before? I mean, teams have look at the Dallas Mavericks, right? Teams have blown it up and eventually, for example, the Boston Celtics blew it up. Now, it took years, but Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, These guys came from picks that they got in a trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. That's where those trades came from, right? So it makes sense for a team to blow it up. But I think people have made blowing it up this catch-all, like, oh, if you blow it up, that automatically means you're going to be a better team in 3 or 4 years because you're going to get a higher draft pick. And that doesn't always mean that. There's not one path to getting there. There's multiple paths. You just got to find the path that's right for your team. That's what you got to do. We always count on death, taxes, and Haize daily episodes. Hey, I appreciate that. I have literally been at this listen, I've not done anything other than wake up, breathe, shit, and piss. I haven't done anything in life for 1,587 straight days. I just haven't, right? And for those that have been there from day one till now, you know I've lost no enthusiasm about doing this. I've lost no fire for doing this because this is truly what I love to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love doing this shit, man. I love talking about my teams. I live and die by my teams. Like I'm not a fair weather fan. Half my closet is Bulls and Bears. Over that, I think the last time I did a merch countdown, I have like 300 Chicago Bulls t-shirts, like 70 something hoodies, a bunch of jackets. Same thing for Bears. Yeah, this is what I do. I love doing this, man. I love doing this. Good news. It already feels that way, Haize. When I started watching you, I thought you were part of a larger sporting network. I appreciate that, bro. I definitely appreciate that, man. Listen, Bears Junkie, that's the thing I tell everybody. Stop trying to, I have the microphone. There's never any time that anybody can outdo the person with the microphone when you don't have one. You just can't. Why don't the Bulls have the starting lineups out yet? Would you go on CHGO with Matt Peck? I've done CHGO with Matt Peck before. I've been on CHGO twice, as a matter of fact. Me and Pat both went on there once, and then I was on there solo one time. For those that don't know, I took over Locked On Bulls from Matt Peck and Big Dave. I've been listening to Matt Peck and like Doug Tonis, C-Red Fred. Literally, I've been listening to these guys since I was like 20 years old. Like literally half my life. I used to work at a hospital overnight. And when I was like 21, 22-ish then. And I used to listen to C-Red Fred, Doug Tonis. I used to listen to those guys when I worked overnight. They were in my headphones. I had an iPod Touch. For those that remember that, I didn't even have an iPhone. It was an iPod Touch that I had. And I used to listen to podcasts on all the time. So, yeah, I've been listening to those guys forever, man. And I'm blessed to have now been able to work with I've done an episode with Matt, done episodes with Big Dave, done episodes with C-Red Fred, did episodes with Jamal. And so I've been able to do episodes with people that I literally grew up watching, and that I don't take that lightly either. I've done a show with Stacey King. I've done a show with BJ Armstrong. Like that's something that I've been able to get to because of y'all. And I want to be clear on that. So listen, as big as this channel can grow to 100,000 subscribers, you would never catch me feeling like it's all me. And if I would have started the show younger, it would have definitely been me thinking it's all me. So thank God I started it after I turned 30, right? Because it's not all me. It's not about me. This is about the Bulls. This isn't about people showing up and loving Haize. This is about us and a community that we've built for people that love the Chicago Bulls. That's what this is about. This is about Bulls fans. It's not about me. I may be the host. I may be the face you see. I may be the voice you hear if you listen to the podcast side, but this ain't about me. It's about the Bulls. It's about Bulls fans. It's about Bulls Nation. It's about the community. That's what this is about. And that's it. That's it. And so I have a level of peace about doing this because it's not about me. There's gonna come a day where I stop doing this and I turn the show over, hopefully, to my son. My son's 19 years old. I pray to God that when I'm ready to wrap this up, I can hand it over to him. And then the faces stay the same because he looks just like me. But there's going to come a day where I hand this over to whether it's somebody who's a Bulls fan, who's 10 years old right now, much like Matt Peck handed over Locked On Bulls to me. Maybe I'll hand over Bulls Central to them. But it's not about me. And so I'm just glad that we have been able to create a community where it's about us and it's about us having fun. And that's it, man. That's it. But with that said, I am done, and I am going to go ahead and get ready to chill. We will be live for the game. So if you're on TikTok and Instagram, we're not allowed to stream live for the game over there. So go to the YouTube channel, Chicago Bull Central, not Bull Central's different. That's Jamal. Chicago Bull Central. Go over there, hit that subscribe button. We'll be live during the game. We have a live watch party. Have a lot of fun doing it. You can also go to playback.tv. Go over there if you want to watch the actual game with us. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red. You already know what it is. I'll catch you guys here in a few minutes for the game. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.